Venetian means snail because of the snail shape, the spiral shape of the staircase. It's like this actually because the owner was lazy, so he wanted to reach everyone on the 5th floor of the building riding his horse. It's a place where we saw something strange. Once we saw a shadow up there, but now it's empty. They're restoring to open offices there and to reopen to the public the staircase. They're working on it. But once we saw a shadow, another time the lady showed me a picture at another tour, and there was an orb just on top there, like a little light. However, let me tell you the story. It's a love story. Chiaretta was in love with a poor man, Sauro was a carpenter. He was working for the Arsenale, the shipyard, an important area for Venice, but he was simply a carpenter. So the father was not happy at all. But they decided to get married again, the father wishes. When he knew this, he dragged her forcibly into the convent of Sant'Anna in Castello. If you must marry a carpenter, it will be Jesus Christ. Or was not very happy as a nun. And meanwhile, she was there. She was thinking how to escape with Sauro. The nuns were able to convince the father to take the daughter home again. But the same night, the father was arriving in his gondola at the convent. Chiaretta was climbing the wall into the boat of Sauro, so she was escaping. In a fit of fury, running from the storm, he killed her, an injured boy. And when she was dying, he uttered a curse. He will haunt this convent till it remain only dust. But the day after, the nuns found it lowered. They could do nothing for her except bury her into the garden of the convent. And the coffin, it was a box there. In the garden there, there's a stone box, which is empty right now. Normally there's just a black cat going around. So we don't know what happened to the bones. There was the original coffin of Chiaretta. And okay, they were able to nurse the boy. After a while, he was back working in the Arsenale, but his life was completely changed. So he took his vows and went to finish the life into the Franciscan monastery of San Francesco del Deserto, which is still a monastery. Right now, just a little island before reaching Burano on the North Lagoon. And the curse of the father came true. Chiaretta's ghosts started haunting the garden, the hallways in her vicinity. But as she was a good girl in life, her appearance was provoking only pity and compassion. Well, let this story a little bit on the side. A similar one happened a few times later, this time in the area of the convent, but the opposite, in between a poor girl who was in love with the son of an artisan, who wanted for him a more advantageous marriage. So in this case, he forbade him to see her. When she knew this, she preferred to take her own life instead to live without the lover. So she was taking a bottle of poison at her lips, and she felt an ethereal figure taking the arm. She had the bottle, all the poison spread over the ground, she fell down. This ethereal figure put a purse at her feet and disappeared. When she recovered, she found the purse, loosened the strings, and there were lots of gold coins inside. With these coins, she was able to marry this one of the artisan in this case. With all the coins they found, they were also able to open a prosperous shop and live happily ever after. But however, in the purse they found, there was a coat of arms of the Contarini family. So what does it mean? There was Chiaretta, the ethereal figure, helping then a girl in the same condition, in trouble of love. So, in case you walk into the area of Castello, if you see her, or if you see her here, don't be scared. I told you she's a good ghost. They should have happy together. Unless you can use a page at both for centuries. And I told you they are restoring the building. They asked special permission to put infrared cameras. And one night they recorded something curious passing through, without a shape, but something grey just passing through. Yes, it's good as well. Well, let me know in case you see something strange. Do you believe in vampires? Could be a real one or not. But nowadays we know a lot about the composition of bodies, for example. Maybe it was not a real one. Okay, first of all, why bones here? There's not a church. We said 1576. Another terrible plague. Thousands of people were dying every day. So to bury immediately these people, they were just put in a ship and down. But then, the day after, they were reopened and put other bodies. So when they were opening, then maybe they were seeing the ship broken maybe next to the mouth. Okay, but now we know also because it could be bacteria. Or the body fatter because of the gas. Or blood here could be normal sometimes through the composition. They were thinking that it was a vampire. They were picking the prey into the mouth. So we then to go to bite. Oh, maybe it was a real vampire. True. Maybe you walked already through this bridge here. Is normally the connection between San Marco and Rialto, always crowded with lots of people. So maybe you walked through, but you didn't notice this building here. This was a Palazzo Venier, the Venier family. But the palace was famous because on the first floor there was a casino. There were lots of casinos in Venice. At the fall of the Republic, the Republic of Venice means 1797, 115 casinos just in the San Marcos area. It was really the Vegas at the time. But when we think to a casino, we think something massive. But what does it mean, casino, literally?
Brothel.
Yes, that's the right translation in Italian, but the word is coming actually from casa, casino, small house. They were practically small places, intimate places, where to meet friends at the theater, places for gambling, but most of the time, places for the lady of the town, the courtesans. There were two different levels of courtesans. The upper level was called cortigiana onesta, the honest courtesan. And there were noble ladies, arriving in places like this one here. But they were coming here masked. For example, the mask is to hide your identity. You see masks everywhere right now because of Carnival, no? A big deal. And then with Mardi Gras. But you see then masks with gilded, colorful. But originally masks were something simple. Maybe you noticed that one with the long nose was a doctor of the plague using this mask. During disinfection, he was covering completely himself with a black cloth, gloves, a stick to the boys on the street to see if they're still alive. Then he was taking this mask, white, simple, long nose in order to purify the air he was breathing as a filter against the germs and microbes. Then our friends were using a different mask, the Moretta. Moro in Venetian means brown, so it was a brown oval-shaped mask. So they were taking the mask with the mouth, the teeth, so they could even speak. A good reason not to be recognized, of course. And maybe they were taking the mask out off when they were in the symmetrical little rooms nearby. However, imagine a man was arriving, they couldn't open the window outside there. No. If the man was arriving here, open the door, they couldn't open the door either. So what to do then? How to appreciate what's coming? Actually, they were looking through a peephole, the first one here. Maybe later if you see here, you see there's a little light in the hole, and you can really take out all the spare, a little piece, and check it. Okay, right now it's Alliance Française, it's a French association, so maybe tomorrow morning you can ring the bell, just to check. There's the main room, a marble floor, squared piece of marble, black, but one is not a marble piece, it's a wooden piece painted in black. If you don't know, you don't put any attention. And knowing, and you start checking, and you find one. And finally, you can really open it and check. It's funny. But imagine that they were opening, checking. Okay, it's a good man. Open the door. And maybe there was a bad one on the bed here or there, running after. When I say a bad man, it means a member of the family, brother or a friend. Maybe had a rumor that the lady could be here. So they were coming here checking. So always there was at least one possibility for them to escape. In this case, they're speaking about 7 secret passages. One is a tunnel down the level of the canal, and if you check below the boat of the bridge, there's a door. So there was a boat waiting for them to escape in case. Okay, we said that these ladies were noble ladies coming here. If they were noble, why they had to go to places like this? It was not a question of money. Why not? The two things that we're speaking about a period where all the marriages were arranged. We're not speaking the romanticism of the 1800s. To be part of the political life, you must be noble. And so, well, you could marry a noble one, but in that case, you were losing your political rights. For this reason, all the marriages were arranged. And for this reason, if you read in the memoir of Casanova, it tells us a lot about liaisons, spectrum games. Of course, he was not for sure the only one who was that one to fight in the book. But it's funny because if you read him, he tells us about the new languages. He tells us about theatre. Never about plays or actors. Imagine him on the box of the theatre, later on the other one, and see the husband to the brother. How can she show the interest? Through a new language of fun, for example. The fun like this, close, I'm interested. Open this, I'm interested. There are sticks on the fun. CO2, CO5. Or the language of the false molds. Velvet molds placed in different places of the face, different meaning. Cunning, pride, and so on. The language of the flower as well, the spirit, yeah, lots of fun. Where there was also a famous tavern. So it was working in the area there, and okay, from here to there, half an hour, no less actually, with a good step, to reach Rialto, walk over the bridge, and down that side. So you didn't have so much time to be back at home during the breaks. So I was spending the meals in this tavern, facing the Grand Canal, run by a certain Biagio Carnio, simply called Biagio to his friends. And he was famous for his sguassetto, a kind of beef stew, very succulent, delicate. The secret is truly marvelous, I have to tell you. But not only the sguassetto, even the sausages. So good. All the people, even from Mestre, from the mainland, were going there to buy stuff by Biagio. It was also like cheap, pretty cheap. Just like they pay for the meat. So it was good, it was cheap. No reason for Antonio to patronize any other tavern. So in the period I was working there, he was going there every day. But one day, he was just sitting on the table, filling his stomach with his bowl of beef stew, when suddenly something hard stuck between his tongue and the roof of his mouth. It was not particularly delicate. He thought it was a chicken bone, so he spit it into the empty bowl. But then his eye was caught by this fragile bone. It was not a normal bone. It was a human phalanx. A child's finger with nail and all. He nearly suffocated a scream. He rose and found himself into a cold sweat. Then he found the courage to take the finger, wrap in an handkerchief, went to pay and went away. 5 minutes after, you can imagine the tavern was crawling by policemen. And then I forgot when they found into the back room. Children's arms and legs scattered everywhere. Entrails, organs, tiny members, with Biagio was diabolic in preparing exactly dishes. So this was his secret. He was brought to the police. He confessed all his atrocities, but how many innocent victims actually killed were never certain. He was brought back to the tavern, there the chop of presentment, and hung around the neck. And on the back of a horse was brought till San Marco Square, and in between the two pillars, facing the basin of San Marco, he was decapitated. He hid it. As a sign for other people. Also because the two pillars are the hypothetical entrance, so people arriving here, not sin. They have to be careful what they're doing wrong in the city. The house and the tavern were razed to the ground. People passing to the area there, they were saying, this is the place of Biagio. So now it's called the Riva di Biagio. Naturally, this is a terribly true story. You're not wondering why so many kids and nobody claim. It went on for 2 years. 1631, the last terrible wave of Black Plague. 1,000 people were dying every day. With that one, a third of the city's population died. Over 50,000 people. What does it mean? You can imagine how many orphans there were on the street. He was taking them, nobody came. They were so tender. I can advise you to play for meatballs later if you want. And actually, we had really several waves of plague because we were rich. It seems a nonsense, but we were rich thanks to the trades. But with the pesto, the spices, were arriving in the black rats, and they were bringing the diseases. We said before about the mask. That was useless because by the fleas of the rats, it was not something you were smelling. And when I'm speaking about rats, I'm speaking about rats, not mice. They're not tiny and cute. They're really like cats. But the funny things of the rats, can you notice when there are, okay, the fall where to drain the rainwater, the rats are able to enter through this hole, to pass through. So we passed through the Calle di Assassini, the Rio Terra di Assassini, the assassins, just because several murders were registered just in these areas here. Imagine in the past without the public light. It was very dark to walk through these alleys. And so several actually were murders registered here. One actually, I'm telling you, was an unlucky one, actually. Was a bread carrier, early in the morning, carrying the bread down the bridge there. And actually, he noticed just down the steps a sheath of a stabber of a knife on the floor was shining, the silver one. He took it and okay, so it's nice, put it in the pocket, and started walking, and he noticed down here in the darkness a body, a dead body. So he went there to check what happened. Of course, he had then the blood on the hand. And turning him, he noticed he had a knife on the heart. The police arrived. Good timing, I should say. And they asked, okay, what happened? And I just came here. But he had the blood. And then they check him, and he had a sheath of that knife. And so immediately was condemned to the decapitation in between the two pillars in the square. It was a week after they discovered the real story, which was actually a love affair in between two nobles for a woman. And so from this moment on, we are in the year 1575, the entire judging system was changed. From this time on, if the judges were mistaken again, they had to be judged after. So they were very careful from this time on. And so every time they were given a judge, they were remembering this fact of this poor Pietro Fasiol, this poor red carrier though. So we are in the year 1779. Another woman, unknown, was lifting this bucket, the water. At a moment she was feeling something dense, and a liquid, a dense liquid, in her hands. Then she arrived at the bucket, it was full of blood. She left the bucket, she screamed, and okay, there were policemen patrolling the area nearby, so they arrived here immediately. Okay, they do an investigation of this well, and there was a headless body inside here, just a trunk of a body. And they started investigating all the wells. Do you remember I told you the story about Antonio, the sausage maker? In the well there, they found the missing portion, the legs. The same day, a gondolier on a canal quite far from here found the head in the canal floating. The day after, fishermen on the Giudecca Canal on the southern part of Venice, fishing, they taken the net in between squids and passes the roasted bowels. Okay, everything was belonging to the same body. And actually this body was a man to be reassembled. How they could do at the time, there were no DNA, stuff like that. Also were people drowning, and they were placing them at the gate, at the entrance of Venice. It's San Marco Square. So people arriving and walking through couldn't notice somebody they knew, recognized. It's the only way. So they placed there the body, but after one day nobody say anything. So they had to bury the body. They embalmed the head and left there for people. But I don't think people were going there and checking properly. Also because it was quite disfigured, because it was killed with an iron bar. And was actually everything discovered thanks to the local newspaper, the Gazette. Because then everything was written down. Okay, practically what they knew was a man. Was an ordinary man, was not a noble. And why was, for sure, an ordinary man? Because they found curlers on here. Okay, nobles were buying wigs. It was fashion to have the curl. But poor people copying in a certain way. The noble were then just wrapping the hairs with pieces of paper and sleep on them. So they was also killed at night because they still have some curlers. They checked the curlers, and one was just the end of a letter. And at the end of this letter, there were four initials, VFGC. That's all they knew. A certain Giovanni Cestonaro was reading the newspaper and said, there's something curious here, let me check better this head. So went there and he discovered that this head was belonging to the brother, Francesco. He was used to write letters to his brother, ending with VF, vostro fratello, your brother, GC Giovanni Cestonaro. Then they started the investigation and they arrived at the victim's wife, Veneranda Porta. She denied, of course. They showed the head here. She fainted, and chronicles are telling you that she saw this head open the eyes. And actually then she was there when killing him, because he discovered the love affair she had with a waiter, Stefano. Okay, she was not the only, not killing by herself, but with the help of this waiter. And actually, during the interrogation, the daughter of them told also that the mom tried to poison Dad several times, but without effect. And so when they were discovered, then they killed him with just an iron bar. And the mother asked to the waiter, to the lover, to chop the body into pieces and get rid. So this waiter Stefano put a piece here, put there, and so on. At the beginning of January 1780, they were condemned to the decapitation in San Marco again. And she asked to be killed first, but this was denied, so she had to suffer a bit more, seeing the lover being kid at first. Living in the white building there after the arrival. When he was back from China, you know, okay, Marco Polo, the great traveler, one of the first explorers. When he was born in Venice 1254. When he was just 15, he started traveling with the father and the uncle, reaching China. Very far at that time, 2 years. But that's so important because it opened the so-called Silk Route. Important for the merchant, for the trade of the time. 17 years of the 25, he was out of Venice, remained at the court of the Kublai Khan, the emperor of China. Nominated his personal envoy, going to many missions around the empire. And when Marco was in China, actually get married there as well. He remained there 17 years. Maybe he thought to remain there forever. He was just sitting at the edge of the imperial gardens when he heard a beautiful voice singing. And he could do nothing but fall in love with this voice. And when he saw her, he wanted to marry her. So this lady then was Kaodong, he said, the youngest of the daughter of the Kublai Khan. I told you that Marco was already working for the Kublai Khan, so he joyfully granted his marriage. Then Kaodong used to follow the husband to the missions, sometimes waited for his return. But when China was no more safe for the palace, she decided to follow the husband till Venice. But her life seems to be shameful to the city. Greed and jealousy turned the family against her. But she was obviously different. And imagine, at that time, people were not used to travel, to see a Chinese lady walking through the alley of Venice. So they were pointing out her on the street. It was quite annoying. And even the church was looking at the marriage as an irregular one, because of a non-Christian woman. In the end, Kaodong, to avoid to create problems, both for Mark and for herself, decided to close herself to the palace, in the room of the palace. I told you which was the one there. And the only amusement she used to entertain herself was to sing. I told you she had a beautiful voice. I want to imagine maybe people enchanted walking over this bridge, listening to the voice of Kaodong. And when he was in Venice again, as every man had to battle to defend the city against the enemies. Venice often was battling against Genoa, another Italian city up north. Facing the Tyrrhenian, the Adriatic Sea. So we're battling to be the queen of the old Mediterranean Sea. 1298, the Battle of the Curzolari Islands, facing Croatia. Genoa won and Marco was imprisoned by the Genoese. When he was in prison, he told everything about the travels to the cellmate prisoner, Rustichello da Pisa. So was Rustichello writing everything on a book, then on the tales of Marco. So it was not written by Marco, the book. And when the news of the imprisonment reached the city, Lucia, Marco's sister, in order to do it more painful for Kaodong, said to her that Marco was killed in the battle. But she couldn't live without him here, though. So the same night, she set fire on her clothing, and she threw herself from the high window of the palace into the canal below, like a falling star, ending her brief and happy stay here in Venice. Where they're saying that sometimes at sunset it's still possible to hear a voice singing. They say this Kaodong singing the happy days spent with Marco in the far land of Katai. But whether believe it or not, 5 years ago, they restored the palace there. Into the courtyard, digging again, they found human remains. Because you have to imagine that noble families used to bury the family member inside their palaces as well. So it was not, even this was not as strange though. The strange thing is that in between the bones there was also an iron rod, a sort of tiara, with a symbol related to the period of Kublai Khan. We immediately thought the relation. We had to wait a while for the bones to be tested properly, and they actually belonged to an Asiatic woman. A story actually is related also to the Rialto Bridge down there. Rialto Bridge is considered the first real huge bridge created in stone. Well, 1588. Stone bridges were created here in Venice as early as the 12th century, while there were small structures like those we passed through on the Inner Canal. So you can imagine the incredible weight of a structure like this one here. There are over 12,000 timber piles supporting the weight of the bridge. Okay, they built this one in stone. Needed to change because that one before was a wooden one. Being a wooden one, they had to change it several times, repair, rebuild that one several times. So they decided to create something more stable. But was really a never-ending creation. They were working, they had to repair, working and repair. The day after, they were going there was some stone falling into the canal. Sometimes even the entire boat to the bridge was on the water. He was working as a supervisor, a certain Sebastiano Bortoloni. This was his first major creation. Important for his career, important for his son and his wife who supported him, so was determined to see this finished. And since the battle in Venice, who happened in just a night, he decided one night to stay at the side of the bridge, to see what happened. Well, shortly before midnight, a big roar was heard, the entire boat of the bridge collapsed into the water, and a laugh was echoing against his back. He turned and saw a man wrapped in a black cloak. It was the table. He was laughing at him. Are you wasting your time and effort? No man can build a bridge in stone like this. But if you want, I can help you. You can run from me, I said Sebastiano, my soul. No, I want the soul of the first one passing over the bridge. Well, he didn't think twice. He badly needed money both for his career and for his soon-to-be born son. They accepted. The day after, he put the stone masons working, and no more damage occurred. So, in a few time, the bridge was completed. But in the meanwhile, he thought how to act with the devil. The devil said, I want the soul of the first one passing over the bridge. But he didn't say, I want the soul of the first human being passing over the bridge. So he had a rooster at home. He brought the rooster in a basket, intending to feed the animal at the early daylight, the day of the inauguration. Then he put 2 guards at each side of the bridge, telling them to not let pass anybody for the night. And then was just sitting on a restaurant, watching the bridge finally completed, relaxing. But the devil proved to be more clever. He masked himself as a stone mason and went to knock at the door of the supervisor. The supervisor was here, so who was at home? The wife. She opened, he said to her, "Where is your husband? Just waiting for you at the other side." Okay, she thought normal. She wants you to join him for dinner. She prepared herself, she arrived at the bridge, and the guards let her pass. Of course she can pass through, she's the wife of the supervisor, of course she can pass through. She was on top of the bridge, when Sebastiano, her boss, is there. Turned, so her guy was petrified looking at her there. They left the others and rushed home with her. But that night he didn't sleep, and thinking of what could happen the day after, the day of the inauguration. He didn't have to wait so long. The inauguration was just finished when his maid arrived running into tears, saying that the baby was born dead. And the wife was near death as well. He went home, but she was already passed away. So he understood that to find the devil, he had lost everything clearest to him. I want to leave with something sad. Oh, you got a beautiful bridge. Think positive. So the lesson for tonight is to play fair. Don't play with the devil. Be careful what you eat. Beware the rats. I hope you enjoyed this little walk with me. Hope you enjoyed my company. It was a pleasure to stay with you. Thank you. Lovolo in Venetian means snail because of the snail shape, the spiral shape of the staircase. It's like this actually because the owner is lazy, so he wanted to reach everyone on the 5th floor of the building riding his horse. It's a place where we saw something strange. Once we saw a shadow up there, right now it's empty. They're restoring to open offices there and to reopen to the public the staircase. They're working on it. But once we saw shadow, another time a lady showed me a picture at the end of the tour, and there was an orb just on top there, like a little light. However, let me tell you the story. It's a love story. Chiaretta was in love with a poor man, and Sauro was a carpenter. He was working for the Arsenale, the shipyard, an important area for Venice, but he was simply a carpenter. So the father was not happy at all. But they decided to get married against the father's wishes. When he knew this, he dragged her forcibly into the convent of Sant'Anna in Castello. If you must marry a carpenter, it will be Jesus Christ. Cor was not very happy as a nun. In the meanwhile, she was there. She was thinking how to escape with Sauro. The nuns were able to convince the father to take the daughter home again. But the same night, the father was arriving in his gondola at the convent. Chiaretta was climbing the wall into the boat of Sauro, so she was escaping. In a fit of fury, Brandis restored the killed her, an injured boy. And when she was dying, he uttered a curse. He will haunt this convent till it remain only dust. But the day after, the nuns found it lowered. They could do nothing for her except bury her into the garden of the convent. And the coffin, it was a box there. It was a garden there, there's a stone box, which is empty right now. Normally there's just a black cat going around. So we don't know what happened to the bones. There was the original coffin of Chiaretta. And okay, they were able to nurse the boy. After a while, he was back working in the Arsenale, but his life was completely changed. So he took his vows and went to finish the life into the Franciscan monastery of San Francesco del Deserto, which is still a monastery. Right now, just a little island before reaching Burano, the North Lagoon. And the curse of the father came true. Chiaretta's ghosts are haunting the garden, the hallways in her vicinity. But as she was a good girl in life, her appearance was provoking only pity and compassion. Well, leave this story a little bit on the side. A similar one happened a few times later, this time in the area of the convent, but the opposite. In between, a poor girl who was in love with the son of an artisan, who wanted for him a more advantageous marriage. So in this case, he forbade him to see her. When she knew this, she preferred to take her own life instead to live without the lover. So she was taking a bottle of poison at her lips, and she felt an ethereal figure taking the arm. She left the bottle, all the poison spread over the ground, she fell down. This ethereal figure put a purse at her feet and disappeared. When she recovered, she found the purse, loosened the strings, and there were lots of gold coins inside. With these coins, she was able to marry the son of the artisan in this case. With all the coins they found, they were also able to open a prosperous shop and eventually run. But however, in the purse they found, there was a coat of arms of the Contarini family. So what does it mean? There was Chiaretta, the ethereal figure, helping then a girl in the same condition, in trouble of love. So, in case you walk into the area of Castello, if you see her, or if you see her here, don't be scared. I told you she's a good ghost. Let your hair be happy together. Unless you can use a pinch at both of them. And I told you they are restoring the building. They ask special permission to put infrared cameras. And one night they recorded something curious passing through, without a shape, but something grey just passing through. This it's good as well. Well, let me know in case you say something strange. Do you believe in vampires? Could be a real one or not. But nowadays we know a lot about the composition of bodies, for example. Maybe it was not a real one. Okay, first of all, why bones here? There's not the church. We said 1576. Another terrible plague. Thousands of people were dying every day. So to bury immediately these people. They were just put in a ship and down. But then, the day after, they were reopened and put other bodies. So when they were open, then maybe they were seeing the sheath broken maybe next to the mouth. Okay, right now we know also because it could be bacteria. Or the body fatter because of the gas. Or blood here. Could be normal sometimes through the composition. They were thinking that it was a vampire. They were picking the breath into the mouth. They were then to go to a park. Or maybe it was a real vampire. Maybe you walked already through this bridge here. Is normally the connection between San Marco and Rialto, always crowded with lots of people. So maybe you walked through but you didn't notice this building here. This was a Palazzo Venier, the Venier family. But the palace was famous because on the first floor there was a casino. There were lots of casinos in Venice. At the fall of the Republic, the Republic of Venice means 1797, 115 casinos just in the San Marcos area. It was really the Vegas at the time. But when we think to a casino, we think something massive. But what does it mean, casino, literally?
Brothel.
Yes, that's the right translation in Italian, but the word is coming actually from casa, casino, small house. They were practically small places, intimate places, where to meet friends at the theater, places for gambling. But most of the time, places for the lady of the town, the courtesans. There were two different levels of courtesans. The upper level was called cortigiana onesta, the honest courtesan. And there were noble ladies arriving in places like this one here. But they were coming here masked. For example, the mask is to hide your identity. You see masks everywhere right now because of Carnival, no? A big deal. And with Mardi Gras. But you see then masks with gilded, colorful. Originally masks were something simple. Maybe you noticed that one with the long nose was a doctor of the plague using this mask. During disinfection, he was covering completely himself with a black coat, gloves, a stick to find the boys on the street, to see if they're still alive. Then he was taking this mask, white, simple, long nose in order to purify the air it was breathing as a filter against the germs and microbes. Then our friends were using a different mask, the Moretta. Moro in Venetian means brown, so it was a brown oval-shaped mask. So they were taking the mask with the mouth, with the teeth, so they could even speak. A good reason not to be recognized, of course. And they maybe they were taking the mask out off when they were in the symmetrical living rooms nearby. However, imagine a man was arriving, they couldn't open the window outside there. No. If the man was arriving here, knocking the door, they couldn't open the door either. So what to do then? How to appreciate what's coming? Actually, they were looking through a peephole, the first one here. Maybe later if you see here, you see there's a little light in the hole, and you can really take out all the spare little piece and check it. Okay, right now it's Alliance Française, it's a French association, so maybe tomorrow morning you can ring the bell just to check. There's the main room, a marble floor, square piece of marble, black, but one is not a marble piece, it's a wooden piece painted in black. If you don't know, you don't put any attention, and knowing you start checking and you find one. And finally you can really open it and check, it's funny. But imagine then, they were opening, checking, okay, it's a good man, open the door. And maybe there was a bad one on the bed here, there, running after. When I say a bad man, it means a member of the family, brother or a friend, maybe had a rumor that the lady could be here, so they were coming here checking. So always there was at least one possibility for them to escape. In this case, they're speaking about 7 secret passages. One is a tunnel, going down the level of the canal, and if you check below the vault of the bridge, there's a door. So there was a boat waiting for them to escape in case. Okay, we said that these ladies were noble ladies coming here. If they were noble, why they had to go to places like this? Was that a question of money? That was fun, why not? Good to think that we're speaking about the